It's the opposite of what you just said.
I get the classification of canon, but I think that this should fall under canon because it's a backstory. It's not a fucking side story of the Naruto Shippuden arc. It's a backstory of a character that plays a large role in the Fourth War, like has to, because he's the Six Tails Jinchuriki. That's the only reason why Pain's that, or Obito's that powerful.
So this is what I told Mikey before. So that means the logic that you're saying means that Robot Naruto should also be canon because he's got a backstory.
That's a side story.
That's what
that
this is.
It's not though. This falls into multiple layers. Like this isn't a one-off and then nothing happens of it. This
doesn't though.
No, dude. There's a whole arc about it. Then there's a flashback that they put in about it, and then he also has multiple scenes in the Fourth War that weren't in the manga as well.
But also, it's a guy that exists. There is a Six Tails Jinchuriki in the manga.
But I'm saying that's
the
different.
Robot one is just that doesn't exist.
That's like Hagoromo's son inventing Indra and what's his name? Asura inventing.
And I think that should because
what's it called?
Ninjutsu?
The Rasengan.
But it was a multiple ball chakra ball thing.
And they wouldn't have, no one from that era would have seen it. But
that's another retcon thing because they had to make them super strong.
Yeah, but I still think that technically that should be considered canon too because he's doing the backstory of the fucking Sage of the Six Paths.
I mean, I agree.
Why wouldn't that be, it's
a backstory.
Like the same thing with the backstory of the
I don't make the
summoning path. I know. I'm just debating what I think they should be fucking.
I stick to them.
I realize that, but I'm not. You're a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, he's a fucking. What do they call him? A Gilligan.
He's a mulligan.
I'm like Gerard Butler.
Yeah,
exactly.
I was about to say Russell Crowe, but that's not.
You're like the guy with the white bucket hat. Gilligan.
Oh, Gilligan. Nice. But I get that that's the rule. But what I'm saying is like even like the Pain summoning path, like her backstory fell into when they showed the second Chunin exams with the Seven Tails, and like that was a whole part of the anime where they recognized the girl from that dude's memories when they went through the dude's memories. When Jiraiya captured that dude, and then Ino's dad went through all his memories and shit like that, and then they saw the fucking girl, and they were like, yo, I seen her before, because that was from that dude's memory. That's like part of the fucking story, and that technically isn't, like that whole backstory where she taught Tenten how to fucking summon, and they were fighting against the Seven Tails in the Chunin exams, that's not canon. But that's a backstory of three major characters, if you count Tenten as a major character.
You know what I think the problem is?
So you don't count that as canon?
No, what I think the problem is that so if you stick to the terms, right, non-canon and canon, anything that's
terms
not
need to change.
Right, I think anything you're saying anything that's not in the manga is non-canon, right?
Unless it's a heathen.
But this is the problem, though. I think when you animate stories that are pre-written, it's different. Whereas, like, you take Star Wars Episode 4.
We're going back to this?
You can't call it the same thing then.
No, because there's no book written Episode 4, right? So then when he does a backstory or a prequel, it's always canon because it wasn't pre-written.
Then it should have been something different.
So the thing is that when they decide it's already a pre-written story, then when they go to animate it, they have a little freedom. They go, hey, let's write a couple of backstories.
Then
instead of side stories, but now backstories.
But yeah, or even the Hedon, those novels, they're like, hey, why don't we add stories to it? But since it's not, the manga's done, it can never be canon because the manga's done. But it's an afterthought. Which if you're making movies and you have an afterthought, you can add it to the next movie and it counts as canon because it wasn't a pre-written.
I don't think
thing.
Movies count as canon.
Like no, I'm saying like, well, I guess it depends because like if you take a Star Wars,
some movies like don't count as canon.
But if they wrote,
I'm saying in anime though, because Star Wars wasn't wasn't a comic before they weren't like, oh, we have this shit and we're gonna.
That's what I'm saying. So when they decide to add anything, it automatically becomes part of the story.
Yes.
Whereas like if it was a comic book that was written and then they animated Star Wars and they go, hey, we want to start adding to this. Fucking what's his name?
adding things that you left out.
Yeah, certain
but like
things.
not adding a new story, but like adding things that were like left out of the original story.
They're like, oh, that doesn't count. You didn't write it like that. And they're like, yeah, but we're doing animated
so
now.
then,
We thought
so then
of
they
new
go,
shit.
all right, George, why don't you write us the backstory real quick for Anakin? And he goes, all right, cool, episode 1.
Right.
So like that's the same thing as, yo, we are in the 4th war right now. We need to kill some episodes. Like we need to do a filler arc. Kishimoto, why don't you write a backstory for one of the characters? And he goes,
then it should have been something. It should have been direct adaptation of the manga. They should have just made something different.
it is, yeah, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but it's not because it has
no
filler.
anime is a direct adaptation of the manga.
It's not. It has filler, so it's not a direct adaptation.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's why there's the argument of it being canon or not.
That's
Right.
what and I'm just saying that if
they wanted to do it, then they would have just said that this has nothing to do with the manga, like some parts are similar, but this is all canon, then there would be no argument at all.
But there's mad shit that doesn't lend to the story at all that is clearly non-canon.
But that's also saying the whole anime is non-canon because the manga's written, and this is a story that is not exactly like it, but it's pretty much the same story. So the whole anime is non-canon.
I brought this up in an earlier
that are
because every single fight in anime is non-canon. Because all the in between like fight is like doesn't really happen in the panels the way we watch it on anime.
That's a valid point.
So it's like you can say the whole anime is not
in
canon.
Earlier Village in the Shed episode, where like if anime like angle isn't in the manga, then that angle isn't canon.
That's insane to fucking say though, to try and break that
but
down.
that's what it has to be though.
I don't know, man.
Right?
It's being made by
like
a dude drew a pic. So a guy drew a picture and wrote a story in pictures, like wrote a fucking whole shit, and then gets money to make that picture into a fucking longer exposure of that picture. So like, how is that not canon? He goes, a fucking company goes, yo, love your story. Here's a fucking $1 million. Expand on it and show us what is happening in between the panels. And he goes, all right, cool. This is what happens. And then they animate it. How's that not fucking canon?
Also,
Kodak.
when they animate fight scenes, people I can't wait to watch that fight scene.
Yeah.
Because they know it's going to be dope. Because the couple panels that you got had like, you're like, oh, that shit's going to be sick. Yeah. But that fight never happened.
That's a bullshit thing to say because okay, so say this. So fucking, that means that anything that's implied in the fucking manga can't be canon. Because like even in the new Boruto shit, right? When you see Sarada fucking use her combination of Chidori and the fucking fireball jutsu, and you just see the people like fall over, that means that if in the anime they fucking fly back, then that's not canon,
right?
Because all you did is see them. All you did is see them on the ground, and all you did was see her do her jutsu. You didn't see them go flying. You didn't see them die. That's crazy. Because that's exactly what would happen if they got hit with a fireball jutsu. They go flying.
That certain angle of like the Konoha police station, like that ain't canon.
Or she says something.
Or like Naruto Tsunade's office, like corner that you don't see in the manga, that's not canon either.
How it's being written by the same dude.
Yeah, but also so that's
He's showing
like
you
so
shit
then
that's
fine.
outside the frame.
But if we go back to the story,
it's not getting drawn by the same.
So movies don't count. So it would be.
He's checking it off.
So if you take Lord of the Rings,
Yep.
then the movies aren't canon. They're based on a story that was written. It's not. It's Lord.
But
you know what I mean?
parts of the movie
so
that
that's
are
what.
canon.
So technically, the anime is based on a story
And
that was written already.
I guess nothing could be completely canon if it comes
or it is just
comes
canon
from a book.
Well, it can't be completely canon because there's side stories.
If it comes from a book, then it can't be completely canon. If you
but there's huge elements of it that are canon, and I think the small little things that are getting fucking like nitpicked should fall into that category.
Well, just
and I
ask
think that
ask Kishi Baby himself.
They did.
They do.
They asked him, and he fucking made a whole arc about it.
You got to read the volumes in order to get those because people ask him mad shit, and if you only read chapters online and you don't get the volumes, you don't get those middle pages.
What the fuck do you need to ask Kishimoto regardless? They spent millions of dollars making a fucking story that he wrote.
He does answer a lot of these.
They literally asked him, they go, yo, what about the Seven Tails? He goes, this is the backstory.
No. But he does
and
answer
they fucking
a lot of questions.
Like that, but that's what I'm saying though. The fucking production company said, what about this guy? He goes, this is what happened.
Yeah. But it's not canon.
But that's the same thing as if he's in an interview and someone goes, Kishimoto, what's the backstory of the Seven Tails? And then he fucking tells everyone in an interview, now that's canon.
I mean,
Well, then he should have made it into a book first. He should have made it into a.
you can't though because it's not.
That wasn't his
the
original
manga's
story.
over.
Made it after.
That wasn't
The
his
manga's
original
over.
story.
Should have made it after.
But the manga's over.
That's not part of the.
So he has
original
to put it in
story.
Boruto.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
It's
what-
his.
that's
It's
my
him
whole
expanding
argument.
outside of the frames, and he's
So
showing
he
you
should've
what's
just
going
made
on.
He should have just came out with a Naruto too.
He did. It's called Boruto.
I know, and he didn't clarify it.
He doesn't need to. He did it in an entire part of Shippuden.
But to Sid's
doesn't
point,
clarify
so
it,
his
though.
point is if someone goes, hey, what's the backstory to Seven Tails? He has to go, there is none. Next question.
But then if he tells you the episodes that he wrote and
Well, if you
got
ask
animated,
him, if you go and ask Kishimoto, hey,
does that make it canon because he says it?
yes,
So if he is in an interview,
No, you just
that's
ruined your whole
crazy.
argument.
That doesn't make fucking sense.
Because when he says it, he writes it down and it goes into the anime,
Yeah.
a
but you
filler
have to
episode.
directly ask him
But
to his face. Be like, yo, listen, does
and he's gonna fucking
He-
explain the episodes that he
yeah, but you
he
gotta
got
ask
paid
him
to
if
make.
It,
But
be like,
he-
guys, it fucking canon.
No.
And if he
But then
says, yeah.
he wrote them down. And he made it.
Listen,
he wrote the
I
story.
told you before, I don't make the rules.
But you just made this rule up out of nowhere.
didn't.
So if he says
If
it,
he
it's
says
canon.
it, it's
That's not
canon. You just made that
Yeah,
up.
That's not. No, I've heard that before.
from who?
Multiple people on Quora and Reddit.
Quora, Silhouette.
It's impossible. It's way too specific to be like, oh, I read a question on if Kishimoto says it out of his mouth, it's technically canon.
Well,
That's
what's
way too
the- what is
specific
the
for you to just
opposite?
scroll
What is
through
the
it.
opposite?
It's nothing's canon anymore because the manga's over.
Exactly. That's what I've been trying to say.
I
the whole
know,
time.
but I don't. That's what I'm saying.
But
is
if Kishimoto
nothing-
comes out later, right now, and says
he can't
the
say
seven-
nothing. He has
the-
to write Naruto
did.
2,
He
Naruto
did.
Shippuden 2.
He did.
no, but no,
he has
I'm
to
saying
write it
a
out.
direct question about the Seven Tails.
And the six, even either one.
Yeah, but that doesn't make a
Or
difference.
I mean,
He-
the Six Tails.
Either one. He made a fucking arc about it.
Yeah,
but
no, but if
him-
you ask him,
no, that's so stupid. That's a dumb
That's
thing.
crazy. Because you go, what's his name? And he's gonna go Utakata.
no, if someone will ask, I'm gonna be like,
No.
hey, listen, is the Seven Tails arc canon?
No, you
No,
just go,
that's not-
what's the backstory of this of the
Okay,
Six
yeah,
Tails?
okay, that's even better.
No, not that. Do one that's never been explained. Hey, what's this backstory? And then he says it on the spot, and it's never been written or
That means it's
animated.
canon.
Now it's canon.
Yeah, now
because
it's
he said
canon.
it, and it's
He
not in
spoke
any.
it into
But he
existence.
spoke it into existence
That's
by
the
making a fucking arc
anime.
about it.
Yeah,
No, because it's
he's
not.
the one that did it.
No, because
It's not some rando. It's not like the beginning of Boruto where he wasn't involved. That was his shit.
it'd be a retcon, but it would be canon.
Okay, it's canon then.
If he says it, then he would If it,
he did
No, but
say it.
saying it that doesn't mean anything because he said it. He sat down and wrote it and had it animated.
But why is it?
So that's why is
called
that
a
word-
filler?
That's not what
Because it wasn't
But that's
in
not
the
the point. No,
manga.
no. The point is how is
Okay.
saying it more
But
valuable than him writing it and getting it animated.
But some things
And we watched it and we took it in, but him
Exactly.
just saying it is more valuable.
Yes.
but then not him actually
he's-
writing it.
Because
and,
it's
him.
and
for
people
some-
spending millions of dollars on making it.
And he
because for some
wrote-
reason it's not in the manga and it is in the anime and there's no description of it. to
But
see
when
if
he
the-
says it,
if
it's not in
real.
any medium at all.
But
Facts.
that's the creator telling you directly.
It's
that,
the creator making the filler episodes.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Oh,
it is.
okay.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It most certainly is.
Then why would? Then why?
you don't
is it
think
not-
Oda made the Foxy Pirates?
So then why is it called filler episodes?
Right.
Because it wasn't in the manga.
Okay, then.
You
But there's
explain that to
filler.
us.
But there's filler episodes.
But
that,
if you just-
that have there's filler
But then-
episodes that have nothing to
Nothing
do
to
with
do.
the plot or anything.
The
But the
argument-
Six Tails is part of the plot of the
That
whole
doesn't-
Shippuden.
That doesn't make it. That doesn't make it real though.
No, we're saying that
it should be
Kishimoto
considered
said
canon. If you're gonna consider him saying in a press conference that if someone goes, "Yo, what's his name?" and he goes Utakata, and they go, "Oh, it's canon. He exists
That
now."
is canon.
But I'm saying if that's the case, then you should also count a fucking
But-
arc that he wrote.
But why would you value
Wrote
his
a story.
speech other than the work he has written? When
because
he
otherwise,
wrote,
then there would be no.
That's like written
there-
word too. That's like a written statement versus an
There'd be no-
eyewitness. Like
There would be no
like,
conversation to have if that was the case. Then you wouldn't call any of it filler. Because
no, that's not what I'm
Kishimoto,
talking about.
because
That's not,
Kishimoto,
that's not the question again.
No, because
it's why is
Kishimoto
him-
did Robot Naruto, but that's not has
Okay,
nothing to do
okay,
with the
okay.
art. It has nothing to do with the plot of Shippuden.
So the backstory on Utakata never happened.
right.
Yes.
That's what we're arguing.
but if you asked him, and he explained it to you.
That's
Now
what
it's
we're arguing.
canon.
If you asked him,
If you're
hey,
having-
did it really happen? And he said, yeah, then it is canon.
but it never happened.
But
He
as
can't
far-
just say yes.
he can though because
But
he
he, fine.
invented
Then
it.
he by him writing it, he said this happened because he wrote
No,
it
but he
down
didn't write
and he
it.
got it
He
in.
didn't write
Who
it.
wrote it?
the
Who wrote
Not-
it?
and not in
Then?
the
Find out
manga.
who wrote it, and then
It's
I'll
not in
and
the
then we
manga.
can.
Yeah, he did the same.
No, but
he
who-
wrote a fucking Retsuden or a Hiden and animated it.
That's canon.
I'm aware, but all I'm saying is he didn't
But-
publish it as a fucking
So then
novel. He
who
wrote it as
wrote-
a fucking 15 episode.
But
Or
if he
fucking
wrote
10
the Six
episodes
But
Tails
long.
arc? Who wrote the Six
But
Tails
if he
arc?
thought it was so important, then he would have just made it a Retsuden. Then he would have just made another book about
It's
it.
not that he didn't.
He had to clarify the things in the Retsuden in the other ones, right?
It's not the fact that it's that important. And he didn't have to clarify a lot of shit in the Retsuden. He
But then
chose
why
a
did
few
he- but
characters
why
to
did
do
he-
Retsuden on.
but-
Just a
Because
few.
people voted
just a
on it.
handful of
They
characters.
didn't vote on it.
Recently, but just a handful of fucking characters he did the Retsuden or the Hiden novels on. So this one, they instead like it wasn't the point of him writing a book. It was the company going, the animation studio going. We
Listen,
need
money.
No, they had the money. They said, "Here's some money. We need to fill up some space before we get to the fourth war. Before we
Yeah.
finish the fourth
And
war
that's
arc,
why it's
because
not-
we need time
that's- Wait,
animating
who
this,
wrote
that,
it?
and the third."
Who
so
wrote
then,
it?
so then he goes, "All right, then I'm going to write a backstory about one of my characters from the fucking manga."
So then that would mean that the movies are also the same.
That's not true because a lot of the movies have nothing to do with the
Yeah,
art.
but okay,
some
but
of
then-
them
but
do,
then
like the
some
fight
of-
on the moon.
Okay, so then
is
some of
technically
them-
No, the last I think is the canon.
It's
Is
supposed
supposed,
to be
to be the only canon
Yeah.
movie.
Okay, but the other ones also have parts in it that also have to do with the actual storyline
Right.
that aren't canon.
not really.
No, because once
do.
well, because once
Like
they
what?
interact with the storyline, they have to be canon, or else the
the-
storyline doesn't make sense.
The
Because that's
Kakashi one.
but
Which
yeah,
one?
but
Wait, which movie
but
is the one
dude,
with Kakashi?
the one with the Sharingan, because it's he has a time on his eye where once he sees the other guy, like remember when he's like the zombie and he can't help himself because he's gonna sacrifice himself. That's the one you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna sacrifice himself to kill the guy because once the guy goes to kill him, he's
I
gonna
remember.
suck him
Yeah,
into
yeah,
the
yeah.
Sharingan or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Well, that means it had to be real because that had to have happened to him, or else like he just had this weird timing thing that never happened. But then he wrote it into a side story. Like, you know what I mean? It had to have been programmed into him for real for it to happen. But I also agree with, but that,
do hear
I
what-
think, but that also makes our point more valid. It's saying that the Six Tails backstory has to be real in the same way that Sharingan shit has to
No,
be
because
real.
I don't think that has to be real either, and it's not real.
So then, like,
That was my
I hear what
point.
you're
But
saying is like
Kishimoto-
That was
that,
my
the
point.
movie where like Naruto, saves that fucking girl.
Princess?
Yeah, and
the
no,
stone,
and,
Oh,
the
the
and
stone.
celebrity one?
where fucking
It's like that
where
ca-
Mike
that-
Guy and fucking where
He
they,
means
they
the
have
knight,
the clone.
that blonde dude with the sword, or is that a different
No,
one?
it's where fucking Kabuto shows up and makes a clone Nine Tails, and then it fucks up Sakura. Remember? And everyone, and the meme is always like fucking what Naruto wishes he could always do, and then the fucking clone bops Sakura, and then fucking Mike Guy and Rock Lee fight him.
I don't remember that one now.
That was
Shit.
like the whole thing where they're like, it's like, yo, this is why Mike Guy and Rock Lee couldn't have been in the fucking village when Pain was there, is because they show them fighting like the clone fucking Nine Tails and they're fucking going sick.
Yeah,
And
that
that's
was
when
in
they
a
show
movie.
Rock Lee goes
Yeah.
the 6 gates and Guy goes 7, and they fuck, or they both go 6, I think,
yeah, 'cause
actually.
it's like in front of like.
But I hear
civilians.
what
But that
you're
was in a
saying.
movie?
It
and
was in a movie.
size there
And
in that
shit-
movie.
Yeah, maybe.
And they're saying that's why they weren't there because it takes place at the same time.
No. They're saying the meme is like that's why they couldn't put him there because they would fuck shit up so bad.
yeah,
but
okay.
So what about the movie about the?
I hear what you're saying though, because that technically
the
does
Tsukiyomi.
again, that does technically involve the storyline. So I kind of do. I hear what you're saying because it's totally a different story. But I kind of think that
If
the
it-
limited
yeah.
Tsukiyomi should be canon.
If it touches the storyline, the
With the
main
whole-
storyline, it has to be canon because it
No.
affects
No,
the
I
main
don't-
story. It's butterfly
It should
effect.
be. It
no, but
should be canon.
how does it?
It should
It
be
doesn't
canon.
affect the
But
main
if it-
storyline at all.
No, but if
only
it touches
you're
the main
choosing it
storyline,
to.
no. If it touches the main storyline, that means in order for that storyline to happen, that had to have happened without us knowing. It just wasn't talked about because the storyline
In
does
some cases.
So no, the thing is like
In some
like
cases.
if
It's
if,
not part of
so
the
no,
main
the thing is like yo,
storyline,
if it's a main if it's a main storyline, right?
different
and then
timeline.
and say it's my timeline, right? And then I'm scared of spiders or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you make a side story that shows why I'm scared of spiders. Then that has to be real because in the storyline I'm scared of spiders, and there has to be a reason.
No,
That's
no,
consequential.
And it-
though.
and it
That's consequential,
touches the
though, what he's-
storyline.
No,
but
but
there's
that doesn't
plenty
mean
of
it's
things
real,
that touch.
though.
There's plenty of things that touch.
But in
the
order for me
storyline
to
that
be
don't
scared of
change anything.
spiders,
You could-
that event had to happen.
Yes.
But it's not canon.
No, but both those don't have to be true.
Yes, because how could it not be canon?
Actually, he's right.
In order for me to be
Who,
scared
me?
of spiders.
I am right. Both of
What
those
he's
don't have
saying.
to be true.
No, they're not mutually exclusive.
But in order for me to be scared of spiders, right? Something happened, right, for me to be
It
scared.
doesn't have to
Maybe.
be.
No, but I'm
you're
telling-
you're
but-
implying
Maybe.
that.
No,
though.
no, but if
You're
I'm in, no,
choosing it, dude.
but if you in this story, I'm scared of spiders,
Okay.
and it's a weird thing. Say I'm a tough dude, but why is he scared of spiders? No one knows. So then they write a story and tells him why. That in order for me to be scared, that event had to happen, or else the whole thing doesn't make sense. Because I'm scared
so
of spiders.
Think of it like this way. Okay, so you're scared of spiders, right? And in the main story, you're a tough guy, right? And it doesn't make any sense why you're scared of spiders. But then they come out with a different story and explains why you're scared of spiders. And it's because it's really fucking stupid. It's the dumbest thing. It has nothing to do with it. But it explains why you're scared of spiders. Just because that happened doesn't mean it's true.
And
You
there
just
also
repeated
could-
everything I just
yeah,
said.
But
No, I
it could,
didn't.
But it could also be something
If
else
it's stupid,
besides that.
If it's
But
stupid,
what does it
you
matter if
wouldn't
it's
choose-
stupid or not? I'm not
It
talking
would,
about if it
because
was
you wouldn't
good or
choose-
not.
You wouldn't choose it to
Being
be part of the story.
stupid doesn't matter.
So
if
what
it's
you're
stupid or really good. What if it was
Okay, so-
awesome? What if it was
okay.
the best story you ever heard? And now no. What's
it would
matter?
be like if the reason that you're afraid of spiders had something to do it was so ridiculous to the story that had nothing to do with the story.
That's not my point.
No, but I'm saying why there's a hole in that theory.
My point is if there's something that happened,
Okay.
if there's a thing, an ongoing thing in the storyline or something in the main storyline, then they write a non-canon story to kind of explain why this happened. In order for this timeline to go the way it did, this had to happen now. Because or else if it didn't, then the
No.
storyline doesn't take place.
It does,
They're,
'cause it
they're
already-
explaining to you something you didn't see.
It already took place.
No,
though.
it's something that like with the Garp thing in the live action. They're showing what he was doing while we didn't see it in the anime.
Yeah, but that's also a different. They're writing a different story. That's all.
also
I
not-
know what you're saying.
But what I'm
but
saying
that's-
is though that something had to have happened, and then they explained it.
No, it didn't have to have happened. Though.
But it
You're-
had to. No, because you're not understanding what I'm saying.
You're saying that something had to have happened
Because
it's in the story.
No, not in the story. When the story takes place.
if it was a non-consequential thing, though, then it wouldn't.
But
have
then
to be
how
that
does
way.
it touch the main story if
Because
it's not
it
consequential?
doesn't.
Because the
right, if it doesn't,
robot
then I agree.
Naruto touches the main story, but it's not consequential.
No, just
to
because
the
that there's
story.
similarities within the other story than the main story doesn't mean that it's touching the story.
It's not similar. Yeah, no.
Just
I know.
because something that happened in
But
that
what,
story
Mikey's,
also
but what
happened in
Mikey's
the-
saying is if you're explaining something that's deliberately consequential, like the Six Tails or the Seven Tails or fucking like these things are directly consequential to the storyline, so those things should be.
So that
included
that
in-
would imply that everything that's non-consequential to the storyline would not be real.
Okay, I can agree with that.
yeah.
But then that wouldn't
It's
make
not
any
an
sense,
insight
though.
into the storyline. It's a
You're
side
picking
story.
and choosing.
No,
No.
Yeah.
One
No,
is
picking and
one that
choosing.
doesn't
one
have
is
any
one is a flashback or something that directly ties into why something's happening in the anime, and the other one is a fucking side journey that has nothing to do with. It's a fucking. It's a fucking episode about something that's just like.
It's like, but also too, it's like if Naruto in a canon episode goes, hey, it's been 2 days, where have you been? Oh, I was doing a mission, right? Then they do a filler episode of that mission. He was off doing a mission.
How is that not canon?
Now it's canon because they
It's
explained what he
not
was
canon
doing.
Because the only thing that canon
should
in that
be.
situation would be the fact that he did go on a mission. Everything
Yes.
that showed.
But if the fucking author made a backstory
But
about
that's not
what
even my
happened
point.
on
Actually,
the mission, then that should.
It's much simpler than that. He went on a mission in the main story. If he didn't go on a mission, it wouldn't be in the story. Then they told you what the mission was. If he doesn't go on that mission, he's not gone for 2 days. Therefore, that storyline doesn't make sense anymore.
no, but the
Yes,
reason
but
is
what
that
he-
that's
so it
No, what he's saying is the mission that they explained could have been any. It could have been any other.
Right.
It could
I'm
have
not
happened
talking
any
about the
other
details,
way.
but I'm saying the mission happened.
Yeah, of
Nothing is
course.
consequential in those
But
episodes.
if that mission's non-canon, that means you can say it never happened.
because none of it's
But it had to have
consequential.
happened if they mentioned it in the
No.
canon.
The only part
Right
of it,
or wrong? If
no,
they
the
mentioned
only
it.
part of it would that be real would be the fact that he did go on a mission.
Right. I'm not talking about the details of the mission.
But that's what you are saying.
But I'm saying that mission happened.
But the details of the,
But
on
that's
the
what
mission
you're
is
saying.
a filler episode.
You're
That's what
saying
you're
it's a filler
saying.
episode, but that episode happened in the main storyline.
No, it
Therefore, it
didn't.
would have to be. It's
no,
tech-
it didn't.
It's canon.
It did. That's what I'm trying to
But I'm
explain
saying
to
though,
you.
when they go, "Hey, I was on a mission," that means a mission happened. If he wasn't on a mission,
Yeah, but the
then it doesn't
details
happen.
are the
Right,
part
the
that's not
details.
dream
canon.
sequences, they're
Right,
not even real.
but we can argue about maybe the details of the mission.
No,
That
we
would-
can- no, but
that's
that's
the
not
point
the
of it, though. Is
argument,
that what
though.
they should consider that fucking legit?
No, because you're
they should.
choosing it for it to be consequential when in fact that none of it
well,
is
maybe my
consequential
example is
at
not
all.
the greatest example,
is a
but
good example.
it's like
None of it is consequential. Every filler episode that you ever see, just because you can do parallels between the filler episode and the main story, doesn't mean that it's anything. Everything in the filler is not consequential to the story.
right. But that's not what we're talking about. We're
That's-
saying
that's
when
what
it
we're
is.
talking about.
When it is.
I
it
No,
should
because
be
it's
canon.
not.
I
It's
disagree
never.
with
It's
that.
never consequential.
I disagree with that.
Because it has nothing to do with the story. It
That's
has nothing.
not true.
It doesn't affect the story. It
No,
only
it doesn't
affects what you
affect-
perceive
no, it doesn't-
of what the
yeah,
story is.
It doesn't affect the actual story because the story is already written in stone. But by affecting your perception of the story, it's the author of the story giving you insight, a different perspective of the story he already wrote. So he's giving you an extension of that story. So there are things that are consequential. The Six Tails,
No, it's
the whole
not.
interaction
It's
with
not.
yes, it is
because it never happens again.
it's
in the
not
story.
consequent, dude. No shit. It doesn't change what actually came out before the anime, but it's still consequential to the overall storyline being written by this author. If you take the manga, the anime, whatever the fuck, all the pieces, the Retsuden, the Hiden, all the pieces of work that Kishimoto put out, there are things that are consequential to the way that you view Shippuden. The way that you view the manga is him showing you shit that happened that happened in the course of the manga but wasn't shown, versus something that is completely irrelevant, is a side story, a one-off that has nothing to do with the fucking plotline. Robot
see it that
Naruto,
way.
side off. Six Tails interaction with Naruto, the flashback of how he gets captured by pain,
Same
all
thing.
that shit.
It's
No,
the
it's
same
not.
thing. Yes, it
No,
is.
it's not,
It
because
is.
he's showing you something that happened
dream
outside
sequence.
of the frames.
They're all just dream sequences that have
No.
nothing to do with the actual storyline.
That's not true.
It is
something
true.
happened outside of the frames, and he's giving you that insight. It's not some random person. He's
No,
giving that
I
to
don't
you.
think that's. I don't look at it that way.
He's expanding on a moment. That's what an anime is.
I don't look at it, but that's. I'm not saying that that's not okay. Like that's not what he's intending to do. I'm
I know,
saying that.
but all I'm saying is you should consider that somewhat legit when you're having a fucking discussion or a debate, instead of it just being, oh, this is canon, that's not canon, because you have the artist showing you an extension of his work. And he's going, yo, this, boom. Like, this is, Naruto punches through it's the argument that we were just talking about with Luffy and Naruto.
Then it has to be black and
Luffy's
white.
fucking continental, Naruto's planetary. He fucking split the moon with a fucking punch in a movie. But that's
Who did?
Naruto.
Also, too, like when
Luffy's playing with
Kakashi,
No, Luffy isn't technically.
When
His only
Kakashi
feats have been
does,
showed Continental because he punched through Onigashima.
I don't even know what any of that means.
Continental means that you could fucking take out something that's the size of a fucking continent with one of your attacks or something like that. Planetary means you could take out a planet.
But what does that have to do with it?
All I'm saying is that
showed him
happened in a
planetary
movie. That
in a
wasn't in
movie.
the manga.
Yeah, so he's not planetary.
No, he is, because they consider that movie canon. That's
Which
the
one? The last one?
Yeah, but that's
Okay,
not in the
then he is.
manga.
but it's never been written in a manga.
Yeah, but he said but that is canon though.
But only because this is only the reason why.
Retsudens
The only reason why.
the Retsudens aren't in the manga either.
But the only reason why
know.
is
And
the
they're also
last.
canon.
Yeah, but
I know, which is
No,
why a filler
but that's
arc where
not-
he explains something, just because he didn't publish it in a book, he still published it in a fucking animated series.
But I think the
He published
timeline
that
of
shit.
that movie is, I think he had caught up to the anime.
The manga.
The manga, the
Yeah,
anime
no,
was
of
caught up.
course.
So when he wrote
Yes,
the movie, it was
yes.
at the same time as
But
the,
in the same
in the
token,
manga.
yeah, but in the
type
same
shit.
token, he's
Because
going.
it happens in between chapters.
Yeah,
in between,
and he shows you how fucking Boruto comes to be, because that's Naruto and Hinata fucking falling in love.
Right.
So that's like the whole thing.
but that has to be canon though, because
it
it
is canon
adds.
because it's after the manga, technically.
Well, it's
So-
no, it's not. It's like it's before the manga ends. That takes place before the manga ends, because it's
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. So it's like right
so
in
then
between,
how is
like
that, so then how is that fucking canon then?
right, because but I don't.
How's
I
that
mean,
canon then?
I mean, I like to believe it is, but
No, that's what they say. I
Right.
think they say that's the only canon movie.
yeah. But also too, when like Kakashi does that fucking jutsu where he turns the mud wall into crystal.
In the Hiden novel?
Yeah,
Or
but
the
that's
Retsuden
not
novel?
canon.
No, it is.
But it
canon.
is?
Retsuden,
It is
yeah.
canon.
But why?
Because they consider Retsuden canon and Hiden canon, but not fucking backstories.
So you can use those feats
Yes.
yeah,
as a canon
Yes.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
why they say Kakashi is somewhat, somewhat comparable without a Sharingan.
That's
Because
why
his
you
chakra
can't
controls
use-
Because he has way more chakra, right? They say because when he had the Sharingan,
every
it was
move
like
he does with it drains his
pouring
chakra. His
out.
body wasn't meant for it.
right.
You can't use like Pain beating up the Six Tails as a feat.
Yeah, because he didn't.
And
he barely,
I'm literally
he
saying
barely
that,
beat
yeah,
him.
and I'm saying you should be able to say that when you're having legitimate debate.
Well, if
That
you're gonna
should be
say
something that-
how strong was the Six Tails, we don't know.
Oh, cool. Good
But we
discussion.
do.
But we do. Kishimoto showed us.
Yeah, but we actually don't know how strong he was. So I mean, like,
I think
I
it's
know.
whack.
I mean,
I think it's a weird way to draw the line. I think that there's clearly things that have nothing to do with shit, and then there's clearly
But-
things where you're getting a fucking
okay. So
spotlight.
the only argument against my own self is if you decide to be a manga only reader,
Mm-hmm.
then you never even experience any filler. So then, therefore, you're like, when did that happen? Who is that guy?
Yeah.
So I mean, in that case, that's where I can
But that,
only
yeah,
where I'm
but
like,
what is
that's
that?
not
But
canon.
what is that case?
Because you don't like.
that's just something that you're not privy to. If you read someone's book and then that person made a fucking movie,
like the Clone Wars animated series.
yeah, and you chose
that's
not
canon.
and you chose not to watch it, like that's on you. But there's plenty of shit that's fucking that's that person's. I just don't get that. That's that person's art. It's like when they fucking. It's almost like when they do the genius like behind the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Like none of that shit is said in the lyrics, but they're telling you what all the lyrics mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, insight.
They're giving you insight on their art.
Yeah, it's
So
their
like-
own art. That's the thing. It's not someone else
now
interpreting.
If they did the genius fucking lyrics thing and then they asked you about your lyrics and you started saying lyrics that weren't in the song, that would be non-canon.
Yeah,
But it would be a cool little side story if you just started rapping on camera
Yeah.
and you just started doing random lyrics. They'd be like, oh, that's cool, but that wasn't in the song.
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, but what did you mean by this bar? And that was in the song, and then you break it down. That's fucking canon. You're showing someone, oh, but those words weren't in the song, so that doesn't. He's explaining it, but like I didn't hear that. What I heard, I only listened to the song,
Yeah.
so I heard it this way. But the artist is in an interview telling you that it's this,
Yeah.
or he's on another medium showing you that it's this. I think that's got to be legit. I think it's weird to throw it out the window.
I can't come to a conclusion here.
That's cool.
I think
I heard you can't come at all.
I just
coming is an illusion.
the argument is the argument of the canon and non-canon is the only way I can be on the canon side with like where like everything's non-canon is if you only read the manga and that's all you know. And then when they're like, oh, you know about the Six Tails, and it's like that never happened.
No, what's that?
So it's like that in that case, I can see why everything would be non-canon. But if you're gonna take everything as a whole and say, hey, no, listen, like everything that Kishimoto wrote is from his head, just like everything else was, and he wanted it to be part of the story for a reason.
Yep.
So like,
time.
why did he write it?
Spent the studio's money.
And it's like
Okay,
even
I
all
got
the
it. I
side
got
novels
it.
too, the side
I
stories,
figured it out.
those happened because he wanted them to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I figured it out. So
Someone goes, you should write about Kakashi's backstory when he did this. And you go, all right, cool.
Yeah.
every time an Naruto episode came out that was filler was only made because the manga needed time.
Okay.
So in that case,
Either way.
if in that case he's adding canon material.
No, so that means that they're doing
they're catching up?
They're doing the anime the same as the manga.
Yep.
And the anime comes out too fast.
And then the manga's
Yeah.
not done.
And the manga's not done. So instead of it having them having
Yeah.
Back to back,
like
or-
catching
filler.
up and like having to where like
they'd have to
anime
wait
might
along.
get canceled.
Yeah.
They air episodes.
They air filler episodes. So
Absolutely.
so
But they're
like,
being written
they're
in real
fake.
time.
But
no, because it's
but still
Kishimoto's writing them.
Kishimoto's shit.
He's like, oh fuck, I need to think of a
Yeah, but
story.
it's not part
They
of the
go, how
story.
could we fill this time? And he goes, I know. I'll write a backstory for one of my characters.
But it's not going to be in the manga because we're already past that part in the
I
manga.
think
But I
that-
bet you he could
it
wish to go
almost-
back. to
That
it.
that explanation almost makes it feel like that they're really not like the filler episodes are really not canon.
Why? It's not
Because-
like they're having some random person do it.
No, but I'm saying it's like okay, so we're the original. So if the manga had come out all together and they started the anime once the manga was already finished,
Yeah.
then there'd be no filler episodes.
Yeah, but also though the filler.
Yes.
But the
Yes and
but,
no,
but
unless
also
they-
It says that
non-canon.
it's strictly made so that the manga can catch up.
But
Yeah,
in
non-canon
time.
of things happen within the Shippuden, within the main storyline too.
Yeah, no matter what.
Non-canon things happen in the anime
Like we were saying.
that
No.
weren't in
No,
the,
yeah.
in the
No,
manga.
because-
no, it is. Like you said, Tsunade's corner of her
but-
desk.
So I just looked that up too. So that is canon.
That's what I said.
I looked,
Because
it
it's
is
Shippuden?
canon. Because it is part of the actual storyline.
Even though it's not shown in the panel.
It's just because it's
Because
not
that's
shown
ridiculous.
in the panel, they're
So
just
now, does that not lend to exactly what the fuck we're saying?
The
Is
only
that
thing-
you're
No,
showing
because-
something that wasn't
no,
shown in the
because if they-
panels.
because if they showed that in an extra episode when they're like, oh, we're gonna look in this corner of Tsunade's office or something like that.
The only thing,
Then that wouldn't be real
the only thing I think is
because it's not part of the main storyline.
if they go on
But
like
it's Kishimoto showing you what Tsunade's office looks like.
It's like if
That's insane, dude.
no, but it's like
That's such a weird point to argue.
Well,
I'm not arguing.
No,
that
I know
point,
you're
though.
not. I'm saying I know.
it's like-
I'm saying there's
I'm trying to think of
the rule.
Don't
good
say you,
parallel.
Tim.
Trying to say a good parallel, like if a baseball team or a basketball team played a game every week, right? But in the middle of those basketball games, they play some side games
Okay.
with like the Rutgers pickup team.
Okay.
Those don't count to the real season, but it still happened.
Right.
Okay.
But
But
it
they don't.
doesn't-
It's not that they don't count to the real season. But okay, check this out. Say they're playing against a Rutgers team.
Rutgers pickup.
Yeah, and one of them gets injured,
Mhm.
and then in the next fucking when they come back and play, he's fucking got his ankle
All right, I
wrapped.
get that doesn't work. Okay, guess enough. Fan-
yeah, he got his ankle
And then he
wrapped.
goes, and they go, "How did that happen?" And he goes, "Well, we were playing a Rutgers pickup game,
Yeah.
and now that's fucking."
Well, that
canon."
didn't happen.
no, I don't.
That's a good. Yeah, that was
No,
fucking
that
pretty
was
good.
bad,
If
dude.
he comes
That
back
was
to the
bad.
main story with a hurt ankle,
That was bad.
how did he get that ankle? Well, we're gonna have to.
Okay,
we have-
that's not what I said though.
What if he came?
But that's
with,
what Kishimoto
What if he
did.
came with his?
Is they go,
No.
"How did?" No, they said, "How did he get captured?"
This
Boom.
But this is also too.
No,
if he
because
came,
if
what
they
if
wanted
he
to know
came
how
back,
he was
hold on.
captured, he would have just said that in the manga.
But hold on.
No,
What,
they-
hold on.
Afterwards,
What if he?
when they needed
All right.
filler fucking episodes,
They need to fill. Yeah,
and they
so
go,
that-
and so they go, "What do you want to write?" And they were in a room or whatever the fuck, whether he came up with himself or someone's like, "Hey,
We gotta
what about
stop.
this guy?
We gotta
What about
cut
this
this."
guy?" And they go, "Yo, boom," and that was him making fucking filler arc
we gotta
about
cut-
his character.
We gotta cut this whole part where I'm wrong out.
Also too.
You were only wrong. about
Also
one thing.
too though, it's like what you're kind of saying is if he comes to the main game with
Yeah.
his ankle wrapped,
Yeah.
but he never got hurt,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Yo, what happened?" Oh, and he makes up a story.
It wasn't
That's
part of the
not
main
canon.
season.
So he just made something up. So like, and
Yes.
my point.
If he goes, I tripped down the stairs.
yeah, my
That's
point
not
is
canon.
if Kishimoto decides to write a little side story, like because needs to make filler. That never happened. Okay, that's non-canon.
That's what he's doing.
But if he goes, hey, you know what? I'm going to take the time to write a backstory for one of my
That's not what-
Jinchurikis.
you're just thinking
that's
too
not the
far
same.
into it.
No,
that's
that-
what
that
we're
is
trying
the
to do.
depth
Wait,
of
first
it.
of all, that's what we do here.
Yeah.
We look into
And make
it.
an hour
No.
episode out
What
of
are you
fucking
talking-
talking
that's
about.
the point.
Yeah.
No,
That's the point. I'm trying to look as far deep into it as
but
I
that's
can.
yeah. But you're looking too far.
That's
into
the point.
It.
I think
not
that's
it.
the exact
That's
layer you need to
not
break it in.
No,
Yeah,
but that's
don't
not-
fine. Don't
no.
fine. Let me finish before you just negate everything I say. Then, fucking, if you write this funny story that he goes off and fights these, see, he doesn't think it's serious.
Go ahead. He goes off.
Why
and
are you
fights,
fucking with me?
Goes off and
what?
fights.
You've been fucking with me the whole episode.
How have I?
No. Yeah, you haven't.
You have.
I've been fucking with him.
Anyway,
If anyone has, I have.
I'm
So
good.
no, if you go off
I'm good.
on a stupid story, go ahead. If Kishimoto goes off on a stupid story that has nothing to do with it,
I forgot what I was gonna say.
oh, look what you did, dude. Look what you
You're
did.
fucking the one getting butthurt. You put my volume down.
But no, I
'Cause
do
you were
think
wrong.
It was
I
a
do
joke.
think that that's a valid thing. What you were saying about the basketball analogy is like
No, but all right.
Oh,
so
go
what I
ahead.
was saying, for real, if he make, because I'm not gonna be a fucking dweeb about it. Fucking,
You just- yeah, you're being a dweeb.
because you're being funny. I'm trying to be funny back. You're fucking with me. I'm fucking with you.
You're being a Joey Diaz.
Dude, you put my volume down. You're a bitch. So anyway, fucking, if he writes some fucking side story about fucking him going picking flowers with Sakura, okay, fine. It didn't happen, non-canon. If he decides, okay, there's a Six Tails Jinchuriki and goes, I'm gonna write a backstory on this guy, then it doesn't matter if it happened or not. He wrote a backstory that's
Yeah, but
about
you
a
can't
guy.
Pick and choose though.
I didn't pick and choose.
You are. You said
no, because
it's
that's
because he's picking flowers with Sakura.
But
That's
the
not a
Six
big
Tails
thing.
Jinchuriki exists. We don't know if he ever did that. If he ever went picking flowers, we don't know if he did that. But the
No,
Six
we know
Tails
for a fact that he
Six
didn't
Tails-
because it hasn't
How?
come out yet.
The what?
Because it hasn't come
The
out.
manga is what he's saying.
No, but I'm saying
It
that,
hasn't come out in the anime either.
what has
No, him picking flowers. I get what you're saying. I get
That's
what you're
not. I don't understand what you're saying right now. I'm saying I'm talking about the difference between two stories
Something
on what
being
can be considered
consequential to the
canon
plot and something not.
non-canon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
Just
picking
because
flowers
it's not,
is inconsequential.
But it doesn't matter
the
because it's
backstory
not
of a main.
consequential because you're just choosing to make it consequential because he put it out as an
No
episode.
shit. That's the opinion that I'm fucking
That's
stating.
the
Is
whole
I'm saying
point.
that some of the things that they do as filler episode are consequential to the fucking story.
But they're not though.
They are in the
They just
overall
show
story.
similarities and parallels
It's
to
not
the
about
actual
that. We're not
story. They're
talking
not
about that.
it's him
consequential.
expanding on
They're
his
not
story. story.
consequential to the story. They're just showing
You're
parallels.
saying because if we never found out who the Six Tails was, it doesn't matter.
No,
We
it doesn't
get
change
that.
the manga,
Doesn't
but it still
change
changes the story.
But it's who the guy is.
it doesn't change
person.
the overall story. Because
No, it doesn't change the
actual
manga.
story.
No, it doesn't change the manga.
Because in the anime, it doesn't happen either. In the filler
no,
episode,
in the anime it happens. So it doesn't change the
no,
manga.
in the filler
part of the
episode, it
anime.
happened. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's filler episode.
It's part of the anime.
No, the anime follows the manga.
That you're saying that the filler episode is not part of the anime.
I'm saying that the filler.
The reason why
it
they
doesn't
call it
follow
filler,
the story.
the reason why they call it filler is because it's anime.
Because
Okay.
no, they
It's
call it
an-
filler because it doesn't follow the
Right,
story.
but it's a filler episode of the
but
anime. It is part of the anime.
But some
that's why they call it filler. Like,
but-
no, don't worry, that's filler.
But
it's
some
part of the anime.
stories affect the overall
It
story
doesn't,
that
though.
you're getting as viewing the anime.
it's just what you perceive.
That's literally what I just said. The overall story as you're viewing it on the anime.
Yeah, but it doesn't- it has
which is
nothing
an
to do with the
extension
actual-
of a comic that was written. So the overall story that the author is giving you, an expansion of his fucking comic book, is the anime. And now there's certain things that aren't in the comic book that could be consequential to the way you view the fucking storyline, like a character's backstory. And then
Okay.
there's things that could happen that don't, like him picking flowers with Sakura, that don't change what happens in the Fourth War.
but they're not though.
Also,
No. What do you mean?
They're not consequential.
when to add to your point,
but hold on,
they don't affect the overall storyline.
they don't affect the manga, but you,
No,
if
but they
you're-
don't affect anything.
If you're viewing the storyline, you knowing how the Six Tails got captured by the Akatsuki does affect your view of the fucking storyline, and you're viewing the anime. So as an overall piece that he's giving you of like like I said, an expansion of his comic, that's part of it. Whereas fucking Naruto fighting a robot, it doesn't have any consequence to the fucking like the Fourth War.
It's
anything.
the same
But
thing.
even-
I
no,
think.
no, but
in my opinion, it's the
but
same
fine,
thing.
no, but even to that point, right?
You just know
Wait,
that.
even to that point, back to what I said about if you only read the manga. Wait, but if you only watch the anime,
But skip the
Just-
filler
no,
episodes.
no. But if you only watch the anime, the whole anime, right, and you watch the whole entire anime,
Bleach.
then and you're gonna say that what I watched didn't happen because I watched the full anime, and to me, I saw the Six Tails, I saw this, I saw that. All those filler episodes that I watched to me was the anime. So then you're gonna say, yeah, but all that shit that you watched never happened.
Yes.
But it did in the anime. So depending on what you're going off of, like I only watch the
Yes,
anime.
but canon is off the manga.
You know, but
The term
if
canon
I
is-
don't know what the fuck filler episodes mean, and I sit down and watch Naruto,
That's what I'm saying.
right?
He's-
And then now the Six Tails
Naruto by
ha-
Kishimoto.
everything
and then
happened.
I come in and say that what you just watched
Yeah,
and
you're
those
a-
things didn't happen.
Yeah, so
the
that
manga.
right, so it didn't happen in the manga.
in the story,
in the
In the
manga.
manga.
in the story,
The
in the
story of the
timeline,
anime,
in the
dude.
timeline,
Kishimoto wrote a story
in the timeline,
In
in
the-
the timeline
of
in
the
the
manga.
anime.
the actual timeline. Uh-oh.
Oh, we
That's
lost
our
the
cue.
light.
Let's plug.
Yep.
right.
We did good.
Q's here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody.
All right, let's do some plugs.
All right, you can catch me, ShedTech8, on Instagram and Twitter at ShedTech8. You can catch me every Thursday with these fools and one other fool named Robbie the Fire, Big Bob Bernstein, on the Shedcast every Thursday at 7. And coming soon, actually tomorrow, coming back with a sports schmorts back in it. So you'll say next episode of Sports Schmorts will be out this Saturday.
Bang.
Look forward to it. Me, Big Tone, Mikey might be there. We don't know. And Renzo will make it when he can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love you.
You can find me at Mike Knight CT on all platforms. You already know. Go check out fucking everything Shed, Alien Entourage, and catch our new music dropping soon. And fucking go get Smirk and fucking Sid's new song, Pre-Save It.
Yeah, go pre-save it.
Or it'll be out. This will be out probably after.
No, before.
No? Before, so pre-save it. And-
Definitely.
And then, yeah.
Follow me, Sid_Floyd. This episode is going to come out after we're at Comic-Con, but definitely when you listen to this, go check out our TikTok, and we're going to be posting some videos on YouTube as well of us at Comic-Con. You already know we love that shit, going big.
I love that shit.
We do. That's what gave us our first bump. That's what fucking got us moving on this
My
shit.
uncle gave
was
me my
Comic-Con.
first bump.
That's dope. Your uncle sounds like a great dude.
Yeah, in his
He also, never mind.
In his fucking garage. Yeah. His garage.
you forgot to say this about the show.
You just wrote that one. What about this one?
So definitely go check out that shit. Shout out to Alien Entourage Studios for having us as always, and our boy Jeffrey Doomer. Shout out to our fourth leg Pickle Pat the Thinker. Definitely go follow him too. And like Mike said, we got a bunch of new music always coming out. Me and Mikey got a bunch of songs on the way as well. So make sure you stay tuned to that. We're going to be doing a bunch of shows and hopefully Village Hit in the Shed, you know, popping around. Hopefully we're coming to a convention near you. So definitely stay posted.
Yeah, look for.
And we're giving shit out too. So if you're coming to Comic-Con, if you see this already,
That's what we're
then
gonna say, yeah.
it stinks, but it is what it is. We're gonna be giving shit out, and we're gonna be doing some more giveaways and shit like that too. So definitely make sure you hit us up. And yo, Buggy D Clown, I hope you're watching this, dog. I'm gonna get you that fucking shirt. I've been a little jammed up, but we got you. I promise. So my bad on the delay for that.
We owe somebody a shirt.
Yeah. I sent him the wrong size, and he gave it to his mom.
Well, good for you, dude.
Hell yeah.
Your
Pretty
mom
sick,
got
dude.
it, dude.
Pretty sick, dude.
You don't get your mom deserves it, dude.
Yeah, she gave birth to you.
You should give her the what do we give them Funkos too?
We did.
You should give your mom the Funko. Actually, have her put it up. Have her glue it to their dash of the car.
That'd be sick.
I'll give his mom a
It's
Funko.
not a bobblehead.
It's not a bobblehead. It doesn't matter. People put it. Yeah, cut that out. Don't say that. All right. I think that's all we got.
Just love your
Yeah.
mothers out there. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying.
How do you say bye in One Piece?
Bye.